So before we start, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm exhausted mentally, physically, spiritually. Um, yeah. But it's okay. It's stopping. It's stopped being so dramatic here, at least in my area.
Yeah,
Of course, it's still pretty dramatic in Israel.
yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Same here. Same
yeah.
here.
You have your own problems in Portugal.
Yeah, and also your problems,
Yeah, my
right?
problems are also your problems a little bit, but yeah, but we're talking about other different
Yeah.
problems as well. I just saw a video on Instagram that more women in Paris are starting to buy little pigs as pets to and walk with them around Paris, so Muslim men won't come to them and harass them.
Really, I'm not sure that's gonna work, but it's a commendable effort, I
I,
guess.
I mean,
It speaks volumes on how safe Parisian women feel right now.
I don't know if that's the connection. I mean, maybe just women are just starting to really like little piggies. I mean, I like little piggies. They're very cute and tasty.
Yes.
But I mean,
Oh my
maybe
God. You remind me of that kid pointing at the cow. Burger.
burger. I want
Don't call
cheese
it
on
that.
my, I,
I want cheese on
I
mine.
want cheese on mine.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
I'm not sure that's gonna work.
I mean, if there's one thing that Muslim Islamists hate more than Jews is uh, bacon. So I guess
Yes,
it's a
they
good
hate
way of
it.
thinking.
But are they going to run away from it or are they going to kill them?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
I guess you have to try whatever you can, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
a
good
it's a
way
valid
of
effort.
it's a good way of thought, like a thought process of saying, okay, Muslim men don't like X. I buy X. Muslim men
Yes.
don't come to me harassing me
Yes.
because of X. Well,
Listen, I'm thinking at some point we might get to around to like more like medieval chastity belts, stuff like
oof,
that. I don't know.
that bad, huh?
Oh, yes.
Are you talking
Yes, yes, yes.
about Europe in general or also in Portugal?
About well, listen, I do realize I acknowledge my privilege, okay, guys? I'm from Portugal. It's not as bad, but it's getting bad. Just this week, an Uber driver tried to kidnap a woman, and she literally jumped out of the car in the middle of the highway.
Wow. In the middle of the
And
highway.
yeah, in the middle of the highway, he was taking her away from the city. She has no idea where he was taking her. And it's funny because the same day that I saw this news, I received like an alert on my Uber app saying that now we have a new feature in the app. Now you can record, like voice record your ride. And I was like, I wonder why Uber feels the need to incorporate this. Could it be because there are so many freaking cases of women being attacked, harassed, raped, kidnapped by Uber drivers because there is literally no control and they have like 20 guys using the same freaking license and none of them are legal? Could it be?
Maybe. I
So the
think.
solution is just, if you get attacked, at least it's going to be recorded.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Maybe it's a
That's a good
deterrent.
thought. That's a
I
good
don't know.
thought process. Well, that's the thing. That's I think we talked about it on Lubna's channel.
Yeah.
Somebody talked about why some cab drivers don't have like video recording inside of the cab? Why don't they have that if they feel comfortable with, like, are you gonna feel comfortable having your girl, your daughter, enter that kind of cab? That is a fair question. That is a very fair question.
It
um
is.
I don't know.
Right now, it's a very obvious answer as well. I am scared of taking Ubers here in Portugal because the last few times I took an Uber, it was a Muslim guy who didn't speak Portuguese. And are all Muslim men horrible people? Absolutely not. Do I want to gamble on it with everything that's coming out on the news? Also not. So yeah, it's a fun topic to start.
I mean,
Um,
let's be honest. It's not just Muslim men, of course. It's
of
men
course
in
not.
men in general are, and again, as a man, I'm saying it. Men in general are more likely to, by statistics,
Yeah.
attack you and try to, you know, do sexual things with
Yes,
you. So
we are very aware of that. Yeah.
yeah, so when people are
Yeah.
coming from a culture that is even less tolerant to women, so it's just
And more tolerant to abuse. That's part of the issue. I'm glad that you mentioned that it's not just an Islamic problem. Of course,
no.
it's not just an Islamic problem. One of the issues is that I feel like we've been living in kind of a bubble here in the West, believing that progress is linear and that we are still always progressing as a society, always getting better, always having better, taking better care of human rights and taking better care of more vulnerable populations, etc. And that's a myth. That is not true. In these last few years, there have been a lot of things that have been very normalized, and people know that they get away with it. People know they get away with it, which is why I don't know exact statistics for Portugal specifically. I hear a lot of statistics from like the UK and stuff like that. I think like the rate of complaints, people like women going forward and going to the police and filing a complaint is like ridiculously low. And from those, the conviction rate is like somewhere between 2 to 5% conviction rate, something
Oh
like that.
wow, that's nothing.
Which is that's the thing. It's people get away with it, and it's getting normalized. And going back to stuff that people say on Lubna's channel and many other places, we are getting one of the lovely things that we get back with this whole let's turn to the far right because the far right is going to fix the immigrant problem and they are going to keep us safe. Going back to the freaking horseshoe, where we left off last time, one of the things that we are getting back with the far right is this notion of the traditional family and woman's
Yes.
place in society and woman's place at home. And this is being, kids are being indoctrinated in this right now in so many different ways. And that doesn't help, guys. Surprisingly, it drives domestic violence, sexual assault numbers sky high.
Yeah,
I
it's
wonder
it's
why.
it's um it's always a war. It's always a tag war between the very very far left liberal consensus of, everybody's free, everything is okay, everything, and the far right where no, we need laws, we need, protection from everything, everything is bad, everything is, only the old
Yeah.
left, old life is good. And it's a problem. It's a problem. We need more moderate voices, especially people who are not following people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and Jake
Yes.
Shields, and people who are freaking crazy in the head that loves blaming the Jews. Like, it's funny because Tucker Carlson was one of those people who was always talking about how anti-Semitism was bad, all the way back to the fucking 2007, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and now after he left Fox News, he needed some cash. Well, he had an interview with the Qatari president, and he got paid a lot of money for that interview. And it's not a conspiracy theory, guys. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is well documented. He can say all he wants that he did not get paid from the Qatari family and everything. We know he did.
Qatar is going to bite us in the ass in
Qatar is a,
so many ways in the next few
and
years.
that's the thing, is that we know that Qatari money was funding left wing academia for years, for decades. Now, after the 2024 elections, they have started to amplify their voices in the right wing, um, you know,
Yeah.
atmosphere, with the right wing geopolitical, how do you call it, influencers like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and people like that, also
Yeah.
buying Trump at $400 million, fucking jet.
No, not jets.
Oh, no, not
Air
jet.
Force
Air
One.
Force One, of course, Air Force
Air
One.
Force One.
Also, I just did a little digging with ChatGPT, and I was wondering. He said something interesting. He said that, I think it was 2014 or maybe 2015. Qatar has bought a piece of the Empire State Building, like 10% of the Empire State Building. And it's not just, okay, so what? So they bought a piece of the Empire State Building. No, actually, what they did is that they have a piece of land in New York City that gives them authority to, get their hands in more and more institutions. This is how
That's
they
exactly how
work.
they've been doing it.
This is how they
That's how they've
work.
been doing it. And they are playing the full field.
And they're playing the
And by
long
the
term.
way,
Yeah.
for anyone who might be listening who might not be aware of this, a lot of very prominent figures from Hamas have taken refuge in Qatar.
In
Their
Doha.
money is in Qatar. They are funding, Al Jazeera
Is
is Qatari.
Qatar. Yeah.
And it's the main propaganda mouthpiece for Iran and all its proxies. It has been for years. This is a known fact. And they don't just have a lot of money, they have a lot of blood money. They are giving sanctuary to a lot of terrorists. And this is going to come and bite us in the ass eventually.
It's
And I
already
feel like
biting us
one
in
of
the
the main
ass.
issues, of course it is, but what I mean is like specifically to the West, I feel like the West for decades has held on to this romantic notion that I feel like probably only the intelligence universe is aware that it's not like that. But the West in general, even politicians, are under this impression that there are two Middle Easts. There is the radical Middle East, and then there is, the progressive, the ones that want to modernize because
The
they have
rich Middle East. It's the
every
progressive.
interest to
It's
do
the rich
so
Middle East.
because capitalism, because we still believe that capitalism is going to solve the world's problems, because once people are profiting and once people are benefiting from a better better living conditions and all of that, why would they want to be radicals? Why would you want to join a death cult
No, I
if
mean,
you're having a better life?
listen,
They
there's a difference between Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the
There is.
UAE, and Qatar. I mean,
There
some of
is.
those countries are really trying to get some democracy in them inside, because they know that more democracy in their country means more connections with democracies around the world. Qatar is
Is
not
it
playing
more
that game.
democracies, though? Is it more democracy in their country, or is it just an a westernization and an openness to the exterior, whereas a lot of their internal practices, I'm sure, are much better compared to other countries that are under strict Sharia law for sure. But there are a lot of bad things still happening in those
I'm not
countries, and we
saying
need
they're
to be aware
not.
of that.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just
That's what I
saying
mean.
I'm saying that they on a road. Listen, nothing can change in a day or in a year or in
Oh,
5 years.
course.
It takes time, and it's not like I'm happy about what Saudi Arabia is doing. They still have like slavery and very very bad like human rights
Violations, yeah.
abuses, yeah, violations. But I am
Yeah.
saying that they are showing a way that they're trying at least to modernize and try
Yes.
to go to a different route, because again, it's very rooted in their culture. I'm not saying it as a racial thing. It's not racial, it's cultural.
No, of course, it's cultural.
But
Exactly.
Qatar is run. People need to understand that Qatar is only 12% of the whole country, which is already tiny. But the whole 12% of the country is Qatari. The other people there are not Qatari. And out of
Yeah.
those 12%, you have like 3% of them that control the whole freaking country. It's just one royal family that
And a lot of
controls
things outside of it.
all the money, and they have
Yes.
billions of money. They can just buy the Harvard, all those institutions. They
Yeah.
bought that giant, what's it called in Britain, in London, that superstore, Hordes,
Herod's.
Harrods,
Herod's.
yeah, Harrods,
Yeah. Herod's.
Harrods,
Yes.
Harrods.
Which was already, I think, owned by an Arabic guy. I don't remember if he was Egyptian. I don't know. I'm not up to date with Herod's ownership. No, but
No, but
that's the
yeah,
thing.
I'm
Like,
saying
I'm
that
not
they're buying
equating.
everybody. They're buying everything right
Yeah,
now. And
but I'm
and
not equating Qatar to Saudi Arabia. What I mean is that to the West, they are seen through the same lens because of those reasons. They are seen through the same lens. And I had hopes that because of the World Cup in Qatar, because of all the crap that came up about slavery and abuses
what
and
is those?
workers
Wait,
dying
wait, wait,
because of
wait.
horrible.
Just what is those? I hear those booms. Now I don't hear anything.
It's oh, really?
Oh yeah, now I heard it. It's like a
Your
tunk
booms?
tunk tunk, like ear booms, like tuk tuk.
Okay. Don't say booms. Don't say booms.
Okay,
It
no, I
scares
didn't
me.
mean booms.
Because sometimes
Okay,
we
yeah,
are
yeah,
talking, sometimes we're on the phone and you're like, yeah, I can hear the booms. And it's
yeah. I
not
didn't mean that.
these kinds of booms.
No, it's earphone booms.
I have to say, it's been a scary freaking week and a half or something like that. Yeah. Not getting a lot of sleep,
No,
for sure.
but we listen. As long as we are bombing the freaking hell out of Iran right now, I heard that Israel just took out the Iranian cyber police, which
Yes.
it is so important, because if we want the people of Iran to rise up and fight against
Exactly.
that tyranny, they
Exactly.
this is one of the best steps that Israel could have done, and I am so glad they did it, because the cyber police are censoring people, are following
Yes.
tweets and everything that somebody says, and they go and they attack them, take them to jail, torture them. This is like one of the worst
Yes.
parts of the IRGC in Iran. And so the reason I am so focused right now on Qatar is because Iran is going to fall. It's going to take a day, a week, a month, a year, but it's going to fall. It is not sustainable right now. There is no way it's sustainable. Qatar, on the other hand, is still a problem. And it's a big
Yes.
problem. And because they are not physically doing any terrorist acts, so it is harder to link them and say we need to attack Qatar because They are terrorists. No, they are funding
Oof.
terrorists. So yeah,
Yes.
but that's
Don't
that's
even.
but that's the problem. How can you justify an attack on Qatar when they are infiltrating the West
Not going to
from
happen
within? It's not
ever.
going to happen. We will have. How
Not going
can
to
we?
happen ever.
So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna let them keep buying stuff and using their money to
Theoretically,
influence.
theoretically,
Like, listen, they.
using.
I'm sorry. I'm just like they fund public schools in America that
I
show
know.
on a map that Israel doesn't exist. It's those little stuff, those little pieces of information that keeps piling up. And in the end, what they're trying to do is delegitimize Israel, and that's what they're doing, using Al Jazeera, using public schools, using Harvard and other universities.
Yeah. And not just delegitimizing Israel, which for us, for you and me, it is the main thing, it is the main focus. But also, for many other people in the West, they need to understand that this is not just about Israel. This is far from being just about Israel. They are infiltrating our countries. They are buying stuff off. They are infiltrating the media. They are controlling the narrative. Um, this is going to bite all of us in the ass. It will, regardless of Israel.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm not
this is
speaking
really
about
important for
Israel
people to
right now.
understand.
Israel
I
is
know, I know.
it's not even a factor right now. They are seeding the seeds of they're planting the seeds of hate, of anti-Western ideologies, and we're seeing it right now.
Exactly.
People chanting "Death to America" in freaking New York, in
Yes.
freaking Los Angeles. It is not. It's not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence. If
You
the
have
if
Americans,
Yeah, they are
Americans,
Americans.
people
Americans,
who are
white
naturalized,
kids.
and not just white kids, but people who got naturalized, or people who were born in America, whose parents or grandparents fled horrible places, went through unimaginable things to get them to safety. And they are literally biting the hand that feeds them
Yeah.
in the worst freaking way, because there's a huge crisis of values in the West. That's the thing. There is a huge crisis of values in the West. And it's so easy to jump on these bad bandwagons, and so easy to turn people against each other, and to just give people a target, just give people someone to hate, just give people this is the culprit, this is the culprit. If we get rid of these people, or this country, or this whatever, or this ethnicity, then everything is going to be okay because they are causing all the issues. It's so easy to jump on that bandwagon,
Well, they're gonna say that that's what America does. That America is always blaming the brown people. That America is always blaming the people in the Middle East for starting a war, and that's why they'll need to come and attack them. And that is like, I heard of that argument so many times from left wing academia and left wing protesters saying, "Yeah, it's Americans always starting the wars in the Middle East." First of all, not always. Second of all, let's talk about Iran, for example. Yes, America did intervene in the toppling of the Shah back in the 70s with France. We already know that right now. If America will intervene right now, it will actually clean up the mess that America
that they
did.
helped create.
Exactly. So when
Yes.
you're saying America should not intervene right now, I'm sorry. I think America should intervene because of what America did way back in the 70s, and they should clean up the mess that they did way back then. Because Khamenei and all these Khomeini assholes, his father is dead, his
Yes.
dad is his grandfather, whatever. They all are to blame because of Carter and because of the French government way back then that helped harbor these fuckers. So I'm sorry. All those
Yes.
Americans that are
And
saying we should stay out of it, you should have stayed out of it before. You should have stayed out of it before in the 70s. So no backsies. You have skin in the game. They already tried to kill Trump twice. Yeah. So if they are going to do anything, and you need to step up and be a fucking man up and do something about it right now, and fucking
yeah,
bomb that fucking
there's
bunker.
there's something else. There's a lot of things that people don't realize. Also, guys, a lot of what is being said this is abundantly clear now because of what happened, the whole smoke show thing of the feud between Bibi and Trump, and Trump telling Israel, no way, you can't attack. And they were aware, they were already preparing this. This is how it works. Okay? And this should be a cautionary tale for people to understand that not everything that is being publicly said by any of these players, be it on our side or on theirs, is necessarily true. I don't feel like a lot of people understand that right now. Back in the day, when we had actual wars, people were aware of this. Right now, I don't think they are. They take everything at face value. We cannot take everything at face value. Right now, we don't know what's going to happen, but they know what they're going to do.
True,
they know what they're going to do.
Now you're feeding the narrative of, oh yeah, Jews control the media and control America behind the scenes, saying Bibi's listening and
America controls. America controls.
America
not controls.
does.
I don't like the word control. America has a lot of power and influence in many areas in the world. There is to date,
but not enough
power to match America. Not enough.
I would suggest America.
I'm sorry.
No, I would suggest America needs more influence right now to counter all the, Chinese, Iranian, Russian influence that there is just spreading like wildfire.
Yes. I just need to do a little caveat. Maybe I've already said this here because I say this all the time to people, but it's such an important thing. Use your brains. If Israel controls the media, why is everybody around the world against Israel?
Well, everybody,
if Israel controls the banks, why is Israel... Oh, the other day someone was saying, I don't remember if it was on Lubna. I think I know who it was.
Mustafa?
Like that, no, but I'm not gonna be naming names or anything like that. That's ridiculous. Someone was saying, I even think it was in the comments, that someone was saying like, oh, Israel is profiting from this war, because there's also this notion that everybody profits from war. There are people, and especially companies, that do profit from war. Yes, absolutely. Israel right now is hemorrhaging money just to try and keep its civilians safe. People need to understand this. This is important. Israel is bleeding money every day just to fire, just to intercept all the missiles. I think it's up to like almost 500 drones that have been intercepted at this point. Almost as many missiles, and this comes at great cost. So that's another thing. Like, not only does Israel very clearly, very notoriously does not control the media, but also is definitely not profiting from this war, and is waging this war for all of us. There is a big difference. Any bad player in the international chess board with a nuclear weapon is bad news. But when you have an extremist state, an Islamist state that sponsors terrorism around the world, that has proxies around the world, that are terrorist organizations, that is a literal death cult. They have been saying it for the past few days. They would rather see Iran leveled, turned to rubble, than stop this.
Yeah, that's the Iranian regime said that.
Exactly. The Iranian regime has been saying this. They would rather see the country and everyone in it turn to rubble than not surrender. Nobody is expecting them to surrender exactly.
No, they won't surrender. Yeah.
Nukes.
There is suicidal.
That's not the point.
There is a suicidal regime. That's what they are. There's a suicidal freaking regime. They don't think about their people.
Where I was going with this is that there is the very real nuclear risk from Iran as a sovereign country, which has a very big range already and would have an even bigger range. Okay, and again, we are talking about a regime that is suicidal, that praises shaheeds, martyrs. Martyrdom is like the highest honor you can reach.
Yeah.
This is what we're dealing with. These are not people who are who have any self-preservation whatsoever. Okay, but then we have to also think that there are various different kinds of nuclear weapons, and terrorist proxies can be given nukes, tactical nukes. Imagine freaking any of these organizations coming. I'm not even going to talk about Israel coming to Europe, and instead of doing the regular bombings, the regular terrorist attacks we're used to,
Yeah.
using nuclear material. That's what we're talking about, guys.
It's not
That's
only
what we're
that.
talking.
It's not only that. I just saw a video from Brigitte Gabriel, the Fox News anchor. That usually I don't really agree with her a lot, but she did say something very interesting. She said something. I forgot the name of the bomb, but she said that it's not just Iran wasn't just working on a ballistic missile that would be nuclear. They were working on a ballistic missile that would be um, echo. I think it was like electromagnetic electrical pulse, magnetic electrical pulse.
An EMP.
Yeah, an EMP, and that they would
Electromagnetic.
they would just fire it from a ship in the ocean, and it will land somewhere in the middle of America. It will cause a lot of damage, but that's not the problem. The damage would be that people would wake up the
Wiping
day
out the
later,
grid.
and then you would have no electricity, no cars running, no internet, no nothing, and it would be chaos. And the estimate is saying that 90% of the people in the United States would die after a 1 year of this kind of catastrophe. So we are talking about more than just nukes. Nukes are bad for everybody, but they're not just focusing on nukes. They're focusing on destabilizing the West because they want to take control of the West. They want to see Sharia and Islam wherever
want
they
the
go. All the
Ummah.
freaking planet. All the freaking planet is, yeah. They want the freaking Ummah.
Yeah. And we in the West, we struggle to grasp this. Well, not me specifically, but I see that around.
A lot of people, yeah,
Such
no.
it's such a foreign concept for people. We have such a developed sense of not just self-preservation, but comfort. It's unfathomable to us.
Well,
the,
how
the
can
lengths
you?
to which some of these people would go.
How can
No.
you blame them when, like you said, they are living comfortably in the West with their soy latte, with their Netflix and chill, and everything is fine, everything is good. You can go and buy, like, you can go and buy clothes for your puppy that you put in your bag, and you walk like this to the mall, and everybody will be like, "Oh my god, it's so chic, it's beautiful." When you live in this kind of a society, I am not blaming. Again, I'm not anti. Like, if you want to buy clothes for your dog, it's all good. I'm just saying, don't expect people like this to understand what it is to live in a society of, like, kill or be killed, because that's what some of the parts of the Middle East is. If you look at Syria, if you look at Lebanon, if you look at parts of Jordan, parts of Yemen, especially Yemen, what's going on there is freaking crazy. Sudan. So when people live in those kind of places, this is why we have people like Whoopi Goldberg saying, living as a black woman in America is just as living in Iran.
Imagine the privilege of having. Again, it's not like we don't acknowledge, and we've talked about this before. It's not like we don't acknowledge that there are racial problems. Sorry, there's a mosquito around me. It's so annoying.
Kill
I'm
it!
so sorry.
Kill it! Bomb it! Nuke it! Nuke it!
That's your job. You're my mosquito killer. You're my mosquito slayer.
If I could only be there to save you, I would. I would go in a second, my love. I would go in a second.
I know, baby. I know. Listen, I would be there in a freaking heartbeat if I could. People think I'm crazy because I literally, everybody's trying to get out, and I'm like, please let me in.
I want
Please
to go
let
to
me.
Israel, but it's in a freaking war
Yes,
with Iran. I know, I want to go
I
there.
don't care. I need to be there. I need to be, well, I need to be with you, obviously, and I need to be there. That's where I belong. End the
That is
story.
where you belong.
It is. But, this whole Whoopi Goldberg thing again, it's not that we don't acknowledge that there are racial issues. There
Yes.
are inequalities. There is disproportionate use of force by the police, etc. We acknowledge all of that. But when you see a woman, a black woman, I'm going to stress both things, black woman who's living in America, who has accomplished everything that Whoopi Goldberg has accomplished to her own merits, not taking any credit away from her,
Sure,
who
sure.
has this platform. It's the pinnacle of entitlement and privilege. To compare it to living in Iran, people don't understand.
This
Going
is
going back,
the pinnacle of delusion of saying,
yes,
because I have problems, my problems are the same as your problems. No, honey, you have problems. Nobody said you don't have problems, but you don't have the same problems. It's like I would go to a cancer patient who's like have stage 4 brain cancer, and I would tell him, "Oh my god, I totally understand you. Yesterday I bumped my foot in the in the door,
yeah,
and it just hurt so bad." And he's like, he would look at me like I'm a freaking crazy person. And that's exactly what happened right now with Whoopi freaking Goldberg, because she was like,
yes,
well, well, I have problems, then I totally know how it is to feel like a person in Iran. No, honey, you don't. No. Are you fucking crazy?
doesn't.
Just
People in Iran, women in Iran get murdered or maimed for life because they show their hair. Homosexuals are hung from cranes. People are not allowed to dance. Women are not allowed to go outside the house without a male escort.
or listen to music or anything. We don't have to be specific about it. It is a freaking dictatorship. There is nothing to compare to a freaking democracy. It's the same people who are saying Hamas, it's the same as Israel. No, fucking it is not. I am sorry. It is
Absolutely not.
delusional to think that you can compare a democracy to a freaking terrorist organization. And the IRGC in Iran is the terrorist organization
It
holding the
is.
entire fucking nation captive. So a lot of
Yes.
people who are even pro-Palestine Iranians are saying to the pro-Palestinians, "Why the fuck are you chanting pro-Iranian stuff? We don't want you to chant hands off Iran, and Iran has the capability of how they say it. Iran can. My God, my brain. I'm just so fucking furious. I'm just so fucking furious.
Yes. Listen, under the circumstances and what you've been living through, it's more than understandable. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
driving
like
me nuts.
most Iranians, especially Iranians in the diaspora, who are free to say what they think, somewhat. And I have to make this caveat because have you seen that there was a terrorist attack? I think it was in London. I'm not sure. There was there were Iranians. I think it was Iranians speaking against the regime, and they were attacked
Yeah, in front of the
by
London embassy, in the Iranian embassy in London. Yeah.
in London, exactly. And this has been happening around the world. There also has been a terrorist attack thwarted in Cyprus, I think today.
Yes,
A
from
guy
an
was trying
Iranian.
to target Israelis there that are waiting to come home. Um, like shit is bad, guys. Shit is really, really bad right now. And
Oh yeah,
we
but we
need
need to we need to leave Iran, because Iran is not the problem. Israel is the problem. Crazy people.
when Iran, I've said this before, and I'm pretty sure I said this in our last episode, which is funny because, it's been a while, guys. It's been like 2 weeks since we filmed for obvious reasons because there is a war going on. Um, but it's first of all, it felt kind of prophetic. Some of the things that we talked about, and we didn't know about what was coming. And I say it again: a free Iran is probably going to be the biggest game changer for the entire Middle East, because again, they have been Islamized by force, they have been taken by force, but they have never been Arabized. They held on to their culture, they held on to their customs, many of them held on to their religions. And a free Iran, Iranians are not that different from Jews,
Oh no, not at
from where
all.
I stand.
No, no,
They
not at
are
all.
incredibly brave. They are very, very bright, intelligent, capable people who
Educated.
want to see their country free.
Yeah.
And it's a massive country. A free Iran, back to being prosperous, back to being a beacon of knowledge and learning. It had amazing universities, guys. It's just, it's going to be a game changer.
It's not only that we know that the moment um, a free Iran will rise up again, all the other proxies, all the other Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, other organizations, in the Middle East,
In
they're
Iraq,
all
yeah.
going to be like a headless chicken running around aimlessly, not knowing not what to do. They will have no more money. They will have no more clear targets. They will have nothing. The Middle East is going to be more, cleaner from terrorists than the freaking West. And this is something saying a
Yes,
lot.
actually.
This is saying a
Yes,
lot.
actually.
I am not just, I'm not just trying to fearmonger anybody, but this is going to be a clear example of how we deal with shit that people in the West don't know how to deal with, and it's always going to come bite you guys back.
And we are going to need Israel because Israel is the only existing model of successful coexistence.
Also,
20%,
also
that's
Singapore.
1 in 5.
Also Singapore.
20%
Also
are
Singapore.
Arabs.
Yeah, but also Singapore.
We need to, yes, okay, you have Singapore. Yeah, yeah. You should probably talk about that probably in our next episode, because I don't know a lot about Singapore. You do, and that would be actually fascinating for me.
I don't know a lot, but I do
But
know that they are a very interesting country, ethnically and historically. Um, just because I see a lot of correlation between Singapore and Israel, being all of those people, they all fled from Asia from like oppressive regimes, and they fled to a small little piece of land, and they made their own country, and they are prosperous, like literally just like so prosperous, and they all live together happily, equally, and everything is good. And it's kind of like Israel. I mean, it's not the
well, there you have
same.
it. Then you have the proof that the same kind of model can be successfully replicated. I
Yes.
rest my case. We need to look at these places. We need to look at Israel. We need to have a part. Europe, instead of trying to push Israel away and enforce sanctions and yada, 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 we should be working with Israel, including for our own security here in Europe. We are incredibly vulnerable right now to Russia. Nobody knows what China is going to do eventually. Nobody knows. It's
Yeah,
totally up in the air.
China is a big question mark right now, because they
Yeah,
are really on the fence of, should we help Iran? Should we not help
they are.
Iran?
We
Uh,
know that they have sent, that we know that they have sent weapons of some kind to Iran
yeah,
recently.
but I think China is seeing how their friends are losing badly, either if it's Iran or Assad or Russia. All their friends are losing, and they are kind of like, if we'll join them, we're not going to be on the winning side. We're not going to be on the winning side. So
I do
this
not
is
agree with you on
why
that.
I don't know. I think I hope, you know what? I hope they'll join. I hope they'll join, so they're gonna get fucked by America, because then that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna get fucked by America.
That would be a shit show of epic proportions. My hope is China is a bigger player than people think. I don't agree with you. I'm not going to go there now because it would take forever, maybe some other time.
Maybe,
But
yeah. That
my hope for
we'll keep it
China,
for the next time.
yeah, just very shortly, my biggest hope for China is that, first of all, they are very wise in the way they play. They always play the long game. They don't play in a matter of, because again, it's not a democracy. They don't have to worry about the next election, right? They are playing the long game, a very long game. And they are very smart. They have been positioning themselves around the globe. They have bought so many things. They have bought ports around Africa. They control so many things.
They bought places in
Industry,
America. Yeah.
companies, real estate. They have so much real estate. They have so much real estate that here in freaking Portugal, middle of nowhere, freaking Portugal, we have entire real estate agencies with everything just in Chinese characters.
What?
They don't even cater to not just the Portuguese people. We're poor. I get it. They don't cater to anyone else but the Chinese.
What the
They
fuck?
are
This is
buying
so crazy.
everything.
This is
So
crazy.
they don't need really need, military intervention if they play it smart.
Well,
So that's my hope that they really don't have any interest in that. Hopefully.
I will say one thing before we close off, because we do need to understand that yes, that's what they're doing, and yes, they're buying everything outside of China. Inside of China, from what I know and I follow a little bit, they have a lot of major financial issues. They are cutting
Mhm.
corners. They are building, their building materials are literally tofu, because their buildings are just falling apart day by day. Um, People are starving in parts of China. People
Yeah.
are, and not just like by the millions. We're just not talking about it because nobody knows a lot, because it's a dictatorship. Like, people don't understand. It's
It doesn't
not
come
a
it doesn't get
democracy.
out.
It's a full on dictatorship. Um, and they have no money. They are getting very anxious to start their invasion to Taiwan, because they know that if they'll get those, chip manufacturers, they will start
Yeah.
getting more and more money, and they are just aching, just really, just their finger is on the pulse of just wanting to go there and take it. So yeah, and we'll close it right here.